Thank you so much for being here today. Look at this. We have such a wonderful, wonderful group here this morning, afternoon already, I guess, almost time to lunchtime. So, just a little bit about myself. I'm Olga Rodriguez. I'm in the song this morning, giving prayer. I am a woman of faith. My husband's a pastor. We've been pastoring here in San Antonio for 35 years. So, that's where my work is, out in the community and with the faith community. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
Buenos días, good morning. Bienvenidos, right? A la conferencia anual 2023 de NAMI, Camino hacia la Esperanza. Welcome to the NAMI 2023 conference, annual conference, Pathways to Hope. We are glad you're here. Estamos contentos que estén aquí. Mi nombre es Norma Quintero y hemos estado ministrando como pastores en el lado oeste de San Antonio por los últimos 16 años y medio. My name is Norma Quintero, and me and my husband have been ministering as pastors on the west side of San Antonio, what we like to call the real west side, for the last 16 and a half years. And it is my pleasure to be here. Es mi placer estar aquí. So vamos a empezar. ¿Le parece? Let's get started. Yes? Okay. Mi experiencia personal con la salud mental. My personal experience with mental health. Tengo una memoria distante como niña de ver a un ser querido en la oficina de un psiquiatra. I have a memory as a child of seeing one of my loved ones, a family member, sitting in a psychiatrist's office. Nunca hubo una conversación ni entonces ni hasta el día de hoy sobre ese día. There has never been a conversation about that visit back then or now. Even now as an adult y aún hoy como adulta, me pregunto, ¿fue real o fue mi imaginación? Was that real or was that my imagination? But, yo le podría llevar al lugar exacto donde estaba esa oficina. I can tell you to the exact place where that office was located when I was a little girl. No entendía la realidad de la salud mental hasta muy tarde en mi vida como adulta. I didn't understand the reality of mental health until very late in my adulthood. Apenas hace 4 años me cayó como una tonelada de ladrillos en agosto 2018 en la conferencia anual de NAMI aquí en San Antonio. Barely 4 years ago, it hit me like a ton of bricks in August of 2018 at the annual NAMI conference here in San Antonio. Mi cultura mexicoamericana no lo hizo nada fácil para yo conocer sobre la salud mental, simplemente no se mencionaba. My culture as a Mexican American didn't make it any easier for me to know about mental illness. It's just something you don't talk about. Porque la ropa sucia se lava en casa. No se da a conocer públicamente. Lo que pasa en casa se queda en casa. Because dirty laundry is washed at home. You don't make it public. What happens at home stays at home. Y si lo publicas, literalmente te estás volviendo loca. And if you do make it known, literally, you're just going crazy. Al pensar en familia, amistades de mi niñez hasta ahora, as I think back on family and friends from my childhood and up until now, sé que muchos pudieron haber vivido vidas diferentes. I know many of them could have lived different lives. Pudieran haber obtenido ayuda. They could have gotten help. Unos aún estuvieran con nosotros hoy. Some of them would still be with us today. Si se nos hubiera educado sobre la salud mental, if we had been educated on mental health. Veamos este video. Let's look at this video.
That's been a hard question because I feel like everything revolves around when my dad passed away. Like life beyond the last 3 months is fuzzy. Off the bat, I just think about peace, and for me, peace is very important. So I feel like when you're healthy, you're at peace. But then also it takes something to get to that peace. So for me, having the strength to deal with whatever you're dealing with, to get through the day, to get through the conversation, to get through the moment. That's really what mental health is to me. Sanity is right.
But yeah, I agree with you, Ryan, about sanity. Because if your mental health isn't really like good, you could like completely lose yourself in the things that you're doing, no matter what it is. And overall, it really just affect your whole entire life if you're not careful.
Yeah, when I think mental health, I think clarity, I think self-care, I think emotion, I think abuse. They taught us to only focus on certain things. Like if you're the woman, you only focus on taking care of your kids and your husband, cooking and cleaning. That's what I eat. It wasn't matter. And simple. And that was how I remember seeing so many family households that dismissed everything that's going on in their household. Their kids not speaking, their kids having ADHD, before we call now, they didn't know that back then. A child that's like flailing their hands and not eating their food, which is now is autism, but nobody knew that back then. But we weren't allowed to stop and think about it.
Within our culture, what I see is the moment you mention mental health is because you're crazy and you need a therapist because you're crazy. Or you did something stupid and you are, I don't know, in jail and now you have to go do something. It's never looked at as a problem. Never looked at as like, okay, great, let's work on your mental health. Well, hello, you know?
So yo no voy a estar metido con eso. We bring down mental health as if it's not important. As if whatever happens to us is just gonna happen to us and we don't have to worry about it.
It's gotten to a point where family members who could have gotten help never got it because of how it's looked at.
Why would you want your people to go through that? Why would you want your culture to be looked at like that? Why are you proud to say that? Even in the Latin community or being looked at from other cultures or other ethnicities, is like, that's not healthy at all. So it's just like, I don't understand a lot of things. That's not the community.
I don't think it's just a Latino thing. I think it's a human being thing. I really think it's a lack of empathy and self-expression. Because I feel if people would feel people more, they would do something about it. If I felt you and I was there with you through mental health, I would then know, wow, that sucks. I don't want you to feel that way. Think, let's do this. Hey, I need help. She needs help. And then self-expression is that, having the ability to actually speak freely. Like, oh, wow, this is happening to me. And I'm not going to let myself be blocked by whoever's thought or whoever's going to think something of me.
Can you like go more in depth, like what you felt?
What I mean by like feeling someone, it's like,
Understanding.
it's like really, it's not even, it's almost, it's kind of like understanding, but not, because like, I went through an experience where there's no way you can understand. I'm talking about my father.
Yeah.
Or you feel me, right? That. You know what I mean? You feel my pain. It's like you're putting yourself in my shoes, even though it hasn't happened to you. You know, as a man, you are like, even of how you say I'm so open and very cautious of, I think, about the feelings. And with this one, it became so instinctual that I did not want you guys to feel my pain. I was like fighting to not let you guys feel my pain. Because I feel like, even though I tried to be as open and honest and communicative, I'm the protector and that's it. There's no other job. So, it's a hell of a battle. Because I know it's healthy for you guys to see me cry, see me feel this, because one day you're gonna deal with some sort of loss, and you need to know how to do it in a healthy way. Because what we do is, we do it in unhealthy ways. Something happens, people start fighting, people start shooting, people drop out of school, yada, drugs, the stereotypes, right? And it's not easy to let yourself be vulnerable with those you don't want to feel what you feel, because it feels that bad. So it's about
who's going to share some of themselves with you.
What y'all think? Sounds familiar? Does that sound? Does that sound familiar to all of us? So I'm gonna share my story. I'm gonna go back and forth if that's okay with you all. Mi nombre es María Hoenigman. Soy madre. Soy esposa. Soy hija y soy hermana. Y también soy la directora de educación y apoyo en NAMI. So I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister. And I'm also the director of education and support here at NAMI, Greater San Antonio. Mental health has always been something we don't discuss about. I wrote it down just because I wanted to make sure I said everything. Okay. I was always told to feel what you feel, but leave it at home. But when you leave the house, wash your face and come out with a clean face. La salud mental siempre ha sido algo que no hablamos de. Siempre me decían que me sentara, me limpiara la cara, vaya al baño y lávate la cara. Who's heard that before? Lávate la cara y ve y haz lo que tienes que hacer. Ve a trabajar y no te preocupes. It's ironic how I got a degree in counseling when our feelings weren't something we would acknowledge or took time to discuss when I was a young girl. Es irónico como obtuve mi título en consejería cuando nuestros sentimientos no eran algo que reconocíamos o nos tomábamos el tiempo para hablar cuando éramos niños. My father was a quiet, strong, old-fashioned Latino man. He worked outside the home, and my mom stayed home and took care of the household. Tears at our household would make my dad upset. It would get him nervous because he hated seeing us hurt and not know what to do. My mom would shush us so my dad wouldn't get upset. Mi padre era un hombre latino, tranquilo, fuerte y tradicional. Él trabajaba fuera y mi mamá se quedaba en casa y cuidaba de la casa. Las lágrimas en nuestra casa no era algo que mi papá quería ver. Él no sabía qué hacer, se ponía nervioso, se frustraba y mi mamá siempre nos decía, no lloren, ya límpiense la cara, no lloren porque se va a enojar su papá. At first it made me sad and I didn't understand, but I thought the more I thought about it, it was how my dad and mom were taught. I couldn't blame them. That's what they learned. And they were also told not to share their feelings. And they were also told that it was weak to share your feelings. They weren't allowed to share either. Al principio me puse muy triste, no entendía pero cuando tomé más tiempo en pensarlo entendí. Así fue como se les enseñaron sus papaces, a mis papaces, y también ellos les dijeron que era algo muy débil sentir, expresar sus emociones. A couple of years ago, it all changed. When I was 38 years old, I won't tell you my age right now because you don't need to know, I was at an arcade with my mom. I asked my mom to hold my $20 and she misplaced them. And I remember that very clearly. Hace un par de años, cuando tenía 38 años, estaba en una sala de juegos con mi mamá. Le pedí a mi mamá que guardara mis $20 y se le perdieron. My mom started shaking. She started stuttering uncontrollably. She was inconsolable. I told her not to worry about it and calmed her down. Vi a mi madre temblando y ella comenzó a tartamudear incontrolablemente. Estaba inconsolable. Le dije que no se preocupara por eso y la calmé. In between her stutter, I heard my 60-year-old mother. Sorry. say that her doctor said she had anxiety. And had given her medication. In the middle of the loud, chaotic arcade, I heard her words so clearly. Entre su tartamudera, escuché a mi madre de 60 años decir que su médico dijo que tenía ansiedad. Y que había dado medicamentos. En medio de esta ruidosa, caótica sala de juegos, escuché sus palabras con tanta claridad. My heart dropped. I squeezed her hands and asked her why she didn't tell me. My mom and I are super close. My background's in counseling. Strangers trust me with their feelings, but my own mother did not trust me and couldn't tell me. Mi corazón se cayó. Le apreté las manos y le pregunté por qué no me lo había dicho. Mi mamá y yo somos muy cercanas y mi experiencia es en consejería y extraños me confían sus problemas, pero mi madre no me pudo decir de su salud mental. My mom said that she was ashamed, embarrassed, and didn't want me and my siblings to think she was weak. My mom, in my eyes, she's the strongest woman I know, thought we would think she was weak. I thanked my mom for telling me and looked her in the eyes and told her she was the bravest woman I know. Mi mamá me dijo que estaba avergonzada. Ella no quería que mis hermanos y yo sintiéramos que no era fuerte, que no quería que sintiéramos que era débil. Mi madre es, en mis ojos, ella es la persona más fuerte que conozco. Pensaríamos que era débil. Le agradecí a mi madre, le agarré las manos, la vi en los ojos y le dije muchas gracias, pero usted es la más valiente persona que yo he visto. Our relationship changed forever for the good. This conversation changed the trajectory of how I was going to break the stigma with my own children. Nuestra relación cambió para siempre para bien. Esa conversación cambió la trayectoria de cómo iba a romper el estigma con mis propios hijos. As a mom of 3 children, 13, 12, and 7, my children come to my husband and I and talk about their feelings. In our house, it's okay to feel inside and outside the home. Our kids feel safe and happy to express their feelings, even though they are still learning the good and bad ways. They still have their tantrums. They still don't know they still hit each other. They don't know how to exactly express themselves. We're not perfect, but it's okay. Como madre de 3 hijos, 13, 12 y 7, mis hijos vienen a mí, a mi esposo, y se sienten seguros, pueden platicar, cada uno tiene su consejero para si necesitan algún día, y ellos saben que está bien venir y hablar, y que no somos perfectos, todavía están investigando y sabiendo qué pueden, con quién y cómo, pero se sienten muy seguros de venir a mí, a mi esposo. They will know it is okay to ask for help and seek counseling and not be ashamed. This also has created a ripple effect and has helped my parents be more comfortable and safer to talk about mental health. Sabrán que está bien pedir ayuda y consejería y no avergonzarse. Esto también ha creado un efecto dominó con mi familia, con mis padres. Ellos están más a gusto. Hubieran visto cuando hice entrevista y andaban bien contentos y decían con sus teléfonos y ya saben lo que hago yo ahora. Now when one of my dad's grandchildren is crying about something, he doesn't fear the tears. He grabs a Kleenex, asks them what is wrong, and promises his grandchild a hamburger if they stop crying. I think my dad has come a long way. Now we just have to work on the hamburger part because I don't think he's getting there. Ahora cuando uno de los nietos de mi papá, y me acaba de decir esta historia porque están cuidando los nietos, se ponen a llorar, no temen a las lágrimas. Agarra un Kleenex y les pregunta qué les pasa. Y les promete una hamburguesa si paran de llorar. Pero ha venido muy lejos mi padre y también mi madre. Y digo esto para que sepan que nunca es muy tarde con nuestros padres. Sí, yo pensé cuando empecé esta when I started writing about this, I was like, wow, I'm changing this for my kids, but I'm also changing it for my parents. Este cambio va a ser solamente no para mis hijos, pero también para mis papás. Ellos están aprendiendo mucho. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for trusting me and for coming here and listening to my story. Appreciate it.
There is a perception in many Hispanic communities, hay una perspectiva de muchas comunidades latinas y hispanas, de que agarrar ayuda para la salud mental, de to obtain mental health help, es una vergüenza para la familia. It's an embarrassment to the family. Es una vergüenza para uno mismo. It's an embarrassment to yourself. Así que muchas personas buscan esconder los síntomas que están experimentando para que nadie se dé cuenta. So many people that are going through this look for ways to hide the symptoms, to conceal them from others, so that they won't bring shame, para no traer esa pena y vergüenza a sus casas o a sus seres queridos. Pero en el 2021, en 2021, solamente el 10.7% de hispanos buscaron y recibieron ayuda para la salud mental. In 2021, only 10.7% of Hispanic people sought and received mental health help. Hay barreras que existen, there are barriers that exist. Económicas, financial, falta de aseguranza, lack of insurance, temor, fears, taboos and stigmas, tabús y las estigmas que se ponen sobre la gente. Pero ¿qué pasaría si decidiéramos buscar ayuda? ¿Cómo se miraría la vida entonces? What would happen if we decided to find help? What would our lives look like if that happened? And Rose is going to share a story.
Everybody here speak English, understand English, or do you want me to do Spanish also? ¿Hay alguien que no entiende español? We're good? Okay. I have to do it in English because it's, when it comes to my kids, it's... So my name is Rose. I am a mother, a wife, grandmother. I have a dual diagnosis. It's been 16 years for me. I just want to say, wow, my biggest thing today was getting able to come. Such an honor. I received a line, the one line with mommy bears on children. So a lot of what I do is support others, inform others, educate. Because if we think that we don't have anything to do, 16 years ago there was nothing. I like to concentrate on what we do have. My journey started with the justice system, so I represent all the hard stuff. Growing up, it was a single Mexican mom. I was not supported. It wasn't that she didn't want dreams for me, it was just trying to keep the lights on, right? So, did my best, and I didn't show a little bit about, okay, so. I didn't realize I also had been in survival mode most of my childhood and adulthood. All the layers of trauma and lying from my childhood and adulthood have trickled down to my children like me. If I was searching for my own home, I did what I needed to do then. I got discovered the honesty. I was desperate to find how I could help my children, but they were trusted because I was not physically or mentally present for them. I wasn't present for myself. And as a family, when we went through hardships, so we did. They went into support just like I had. It's generational hardship. It wasn't until I took the family education of mom that taught me how my mental health kind of that really do now. It helped me set boundaries, healthy mentally the first time. All the while I've been in recovery for 16 years up to that point, I didn't know how to support my children. My approach was going to be the world of difference when it came to supporting them and how not to move forward. When my approach changed, my children were curious about what had finally helped me. So they took a creative communication program. My adult children had known that they were not alone because they had been there for years. They had developed a handful of tools that helped them by their own voice. And for the first time, my son was able to paint a picture for me. So for 16 years, I had carried that cross, for lack of a better word, desperate to find out what was going on with my kids and my approach was one of my sons. Tell me, so I can help you, tell me, right? But it wasn't until I took things educated how the brain is affected. I was able to show myself a lot of grace and patience and how to support them and be put in their shoes. So I'm going to share this, and I'm going to try to do it without crying because this is something that he's 24 now, right? This just happened last year when I took him out. Remind you, I had already done a lot of work of the layers of trauma and Bishop had mentioned, like an onion. When I got diagnosed, I remember saying, I don't know if I want to be on medication for the rest of my life. Because I was already battling substance abuse. And he said, you don't want to be on medication, you're going to have to do a lot of work. And when I tell you that there was so much that I had not unpacked, it's almost like your brain protects you from some horrific stuff, right? So when somebody calls and asks for help, I am that person who is walking the streets. Oh. I was that person that the family didn't know how to help. Things happened to me and I did things out of survival. Right? And I'm doing my best. It's going to not be doing my best. And I thank God that just this isn't my fault. And when we share that, people are like, oh, that sucks. What would have happened if we hadn't been involved? I was still thinking, oh, all right, be with that. So I'm going to take care of the things at home. We're going to do everything with your things. So when people say they're looking and you're allowed to help me out, I want to do yes. But man, there's a lot now. There's a lot now. So this part is going to be from 24 he was 7 when I started my journey in recovery. And this is me asking, how do I help you? What happened? If something happened to you? Not knowing that I just assumed that somebody has assaulted him or abused him the way that happened to me. And then after the point when he just said, all right, yes, somebody abused me and you're alone. So I did what I did. I took him to a counselor that treated abuse, right? And then they started message, right? But after Nami, right? So when I share Nami, it's not because I work with Nami, it's because it truly changed our lives, right? The change happened with me. The change might not happen with your loved ones, but it can surely happen with you. He said, he's 24 now. He said, Mom, my entire life, I've never had the words to tell you how I was feeling. He said, I can surely feel your picture today. He said, it's like I become this little girl in the middle of the ocean my entire life, and the world is blowing against me. And even when I'm doing my best and going ahead, I'm not making any progress. And how good it would be to just let go and give up. And that's suicide, right? But you never did. I'm only a little more on the and I'm not getting it anymore. But then I went to my cousins and my friends passing me around, chasing their dreams and starting their families. But yeah, here I am, stuck alone, and that's good. Of course, when they looked at me, I said, wow, they have not had that same journey as you have. I wasn't there physically or mentally, I was over myself. But I will share with you that in life, all we need is a word to shape our direction and our little boy will surely step forward. And all that really requires is for us to stay open and curious about all the possibilities, even when we get early start, even around our storms. And that's all.
I'm going to thank her for being here today with us. Quiero dar gracias por estar aquí con nosotros en esta mañana. I want to thank Maria and Rose for sharing and opening up to your life. Les doy gracias a ellas por compartir y abrir sus vidas, sus vivencias con nosotros. And you might ask yourself, quizás alguien te está preguntando, well, what did you do? ¿Qué hiciste para salir de ahí, to get out? I have loved ones, myself, other people, tengo seres queridos, yo mismo, a otras personas que necesitan ayuda, that need that help. Well, we invite you to come back tomorrow. Le invitamos que regrese el día de mañana, tenemos otra sesión, we have another session, donde Rose y María trabajan con NAMI, they work for NAMI, y hay muchas ayudas disponibles para ustedes y para mí. There's a lot of help that is available for you and for myself. So tomorrow we will be sharing all that information with you. Mañana vamos a estar compartiendo toda esta información con usted. No permita que la barrera del lenguaje, la barrera de no tener aseguranza, la barrera de no tener dinero, do not allow the barrier of language, of not having insurance, of not having the finances, se interponga en su salud, to get in the way of your health. Si usted se pone saludable mentalmente, if you get healthy mentally, usted va a impactar muchas vidas. You will impact many, many lives. Tenemos un poco de tiempo. We have a little time left. Si alguien tiene alguna pregunta, if anybody has a question, puede hacerlas ahora. You can ask now.
Any questions? We do have some reflection questions if y'all don't have questions. So it's something for y'all to stay with, something to y'all to take home with. Like, you know how you like giveaways out there? I like them. So it's something for you to take with you. It's not tangible. It's like something that you could just take. I want to leave you all with, what can I, and we could take time because we have time for y'all to reflect on this. What can I do to have people around me feel heard? ¿Qué puedo hacer para que las personas a mi alrededor se sientan escuchados? How can I create spaces for me to be heard? ¿Cómo puedo crear espacios para que me escuchen?
Does anybody have any input on how we do that? Anybody want to share how we do that? How we create
How have
space?
you done that in your home? How do you think you could do that from, if you weren't doing it, how could you do it from now on?
I just want to say, y'all stories are beautiful and impactful, and it resonates with me. I was that kid, and I just want to say that, but using and helping them learn how to use their voice, helping them learn how to talk and express themselves, whether it's through activities or finding something that they love and loving them.
For sure. That's perfect. Thank you for sharing that.
I know, go ahead.
Yeah, likewise to echo what he said, your stories were incredibly beautiful, so thank you for your own.
Thank you.
I have learned that in my family, if my family members are going to feel safe, it has to be because I myself am regulated to that safe stage. And
Yes.
it's not until my mom sees that I myself have a regulated presence that she's like, okay, maybe I can let my guard down.
Yes.
It's safe.
Yes, for sure.
So,
There's another.
Yeah, I'm just gonna advocate the same, being a victim as well, knowing that I have a daughter and a grandchild, having that honest communication, because I've noticed that when I got to talk to my grandson, he opens up and he feels safe, and so when anything happens, he's not afraid. And that's what I love, because things have happened to him unfortunately, but I was able, because of the communication, making it a safe zone, he feels good to tell me, Grandma, this is what's going on. So it's very important to have that family support and communication, so kids open up to you and never feel afraid.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
So one of the things that I've learned in my journey is that my kids and other people that I serve, they don't want to hear about how hard you had it, how you had to walk to school, and if you didn't get to school, you didn't eat breakfast. They don't care that. So one of the things that I learned is, I love you and I support you, right? My way has not helped you or me. All I'm asking is that you stay open and willing to be a participant in your own journey. Because think about how many people get told what you need to do. You need to do this, and this is what you should do, and if not, this is going to happen. But when you open it that way, when you introduce an idea to somebody, you put them back in the driver's side because they're more than what they're experiencing. Somebody walks in and is in crisis. That crisis started way before, not at the time of crisis. It's like we see the smoke, and because we don't have the language and we don't know how to help, we wait until it's burning down and then be like, well, they don't have nothing. They can't help me. Right? Who does that fall on? That falls on us. Maybe we didn't know it before, but now we know it. If somebody is not doing what they normally do, like working out, say your son works out every day and they start pulling the weight. Hey, what's going on? Mom, leave me alone. You don't have to open the door, but I've noticed that you're withdrawing. Right? You want to go for a walk? Do you want to sit with me? You don't got to say nothing because most of the time they don't even have the words to tell you what they're showing you, right? But if we don't meet the people where they're at now and hold that space for them, we're not going to get anywhere. Because you're asking, what are you doing? What do you want? They don't even know what they're... It's hard to say, hey, I'm hearing voices. I don't know if they're real or not. Like, how hard is that? That's hard to admit, right? I know for me, when I first got clean, right, because that's what I used to do. I used to numb myself on the weekends and party, and then here we go again. I used to have to leave the TV on at night because I was so numb and so alone, right? As soon as I lay down, my mind was just racing. What if this? What if that? What if this happens? What if that? Because I was in survival mode, right? Like my mind was just spinning, right? How am I going to help others if I'm like struggling myself? Because I was never taught how to. So this is like even just people talking about it, because like Bishop said, it's not just a race thing, it's in every person. It's almost like cancer, right? Like, oh, let's fight cancer, cancer sucks, let's raise money for cancer. But unless it's in your house, it's kind of like over there, not my issue, it's over there. But if it's in your house and you're pacing the floor and you can't find your kid because your kid is not coming or not, it's different. It's different when it's in your home. And now we can no longer say it's over there, it's somebody else's problem. It's everywhere. COVID has brought that to the forefront. Uvalde shook our building. When Uvalde happened, I was the first one to say, that could have been my kid. Not because he's evil, but because I know he went unseen for so long. Right? So I prayed for the family, we prayed for the family, we pray for everybody because I oversee the worm line and I get one suicide call a week. A week, one, and that's just people who know of us. What about all the other people who are suffering still in silence? I'm so over talking about it. I'm more like, what do we do? What do we do, right? Where do we start? Or I've done everything, and what else do I do?
And I see that there's like a lot of individuals, organizations, and if you want to continue starting this conversation, it was funny how Compartiendo Esperanza is the little video that we just gave you a little appetizer. It's a little morsel. Like if you want the whole thing, you could ask us and we could go present the whole thing for y'all. Me and Rose are trained. So it was funny, we were talking, we had like a pilot group of people that want to be the presenters. It's all volunteers that want to make a difference in the community. So we were there and they're like, well, what does this entail? Like, why is it like specific? Like everything NAMI is very specific, like by the minute, 5 minutes on this, 10 minutes on that. It's research-based and evidence-based. So everything is, so they're like, but do we have to provide them resources? Do we have to do this? And it was funny, like in that table, we're all sitting there and it just started a whole conversation about our own childhoods, about our own, it did what it's supposed to do. I'm like, it's starting a conversation. So we have this curriculum. I'm not trying to be a salesperson, but we do have this curriculum. It's free for us to come and do these presentations. We're training people because it works. Me and Rose did it. We didn't have to go get trained to do it because we are staff. We didn't have to. We wanted to. Like, this is what I'm passionate about, and we have a lot of volunteers that are ready. So we're going to do our first one in San Antonio at the neighborhood place, but it's very, we only have a small space. So if you're really interested, you could come and reach out to us, and the whole family, it attends. There's one for family, there's one for youth, and there's one for people that work with individuals with mental health conditions that are Latino. So there's the 3 programming. We also have Sharing Hope. It's for the African American community as well. So if you all are interested, please let us know.
You know what, I'm so amazed, so amazed. It just blows me away. How many people are professional, right? Taking care of others, calling in and saying, I'm at work and I'm struggling, right? I have nowhere to go. My boss is not informed, educated on what it is when I say, I need my support, right? They don't know, so they call me, and it's amazing, A, that I'm trusted that way, B, that I'm able to just think about it. I'm used to serving in front of people. I worked at Even for Hope for years before I transitioned to NAMI. So I learned the cues when somebody is hearing your voice, right? That's different, right? So I learned how to include that voice in the conversation. Because if we don't include their symptoms and their conditions, we're not going to be able to process and support somebody. We just became part of the problem. But if I say, sir, is somebody standing there? Yeah, they're standing there. Are they female or male? No, they're male. Are they friendly or not friendly? No, they're telling me to shut up. Okay, then we'll wait. Ask them if they want a water. I have to introduce, right? Okay. So it amazes me how many people, so when I transitioned to NAMI, there was no cue. It was on the phone. So you think you know how to listen? But when somebody's like, wait, I'm talking. I'm sorry. Right? Because that chance might not come again. They might not pick up the phone again. Right? But it's amazing how many professionals reach out for help because their team is not informed. Right? And we're serving. We're pouring. We're helping others. But then we don't have the support here. So that's what NAMI does, right? We inform, we educate. Because I experience compassion fatigue. I don't even notice it. But I do. I could tell you at 5 o'clock, I'm like on my way down back to the house. But then I get home and I'm just sitting there. And my kid's like, Mom, and I'm like, hey, right? I'm still on, right? So that's what we do. We educate, we inform, but we're people that are walking this journey with you, right? We're walking with you. So if you're taking care of others, whether it's at work, at home, anywhere, take good care of yourself because that change might not come. Your loved one might not ever know that he has a problem, but you get to change. You get to set healthy boundaries. You get to say, hey, you know what? I just need you to be open. You put them back in the driver's seat. Because if we're one more person telling them what to do, we might not get there. But if you say, hey, mijo, I see this is going on with you, right? And I'm asking you to be open and be curious. Because my way is not helping you or me. Well, what does that mean, Mom? Leave me alone. Can we set a goal? Can we make an appointment next week? Just be open to it.
Any questions? Any?
I don't know if questions, but I have a family member who has mental health diagnosis. Not only that, maybe you should call it mental retardation. It's not the
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah. I have a family member who's dual diagnosis, and she's intellectually functioning. It used to be MR, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before, when I used to talk to her because now she's hearing voices, and there's other people, and we were taught that you don't acknowledge the other person that is in her mind, right? And for the longest time, because she decompensated, and we were having a lot of issues, and then just one day, I don't know what happened, I just said, you know what? I just started to, like what you just said, I started acknowledging that other, because it's real.
It's real to them.
It's
to them, it's
real.
real. It doesn't matter what we do.
It's real. And so once I started acknowledging that, it's like I feel myself. It's like, I don't have to, I know it's not there, but that's me.
And imagine the other person.
Yes, how she
is. Be like, oh, I don't have to
yes.
Oh, I don't have to do this alone.
Yes, and because that's different. Her mental health has progressed. That wasn't what she had.
Yeah.
So it's kind of after COVID that.
Yes.
And be able to say that to the person she's seeing. Hey, you know what? We started on level 1, but right now we're looking at level 4. She needs case management. She needs wraparound services. She needs more because this is what I'm seeing. Oh, well, no, you don't have a release of information. She doesn't want to share anything with you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not asking to violate her rights. I'm telling you that she is now experiencing, because if not, you're gonna treat her for depression and it might be schizoaffective, it might be bipolar.
Yeah, but that did change, so I wanted to say in that respect, because, you know, they always would tell us, you don't acknowledge
Yeah.
that part, you know, pretend it's not there, it's like it's giving them, fuel. But no, I noticed, then she opened up. She was able to be more relaxed.
And I only learned that from somebody who did a conference and a press thing. She included her voice in her journey, and she said, now me and my voice go to school, right? And she said, is it male or female, right? Is it happy, is it sad? She gave it a name, right?
Yeah.
And she found out that voice was the most traumatic part of her journey. She knew that it was a nun that would have been at the Catholic school and so forth, but I think we're done with time.
Yes.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you for coming today. Gracias por venir hoy. Rose and Maria and Nami are a pool of resources, and they have a table outside. If you want to schedule some of these trainings or get more informed, tienen una mesa allá afuera, Nami, para que usted pueda agendar clases e informarse un poquito más.
Come tomorrow, because we have
The resources.
a lot of
yes.
resources that I want to share.
Si venga mañana porque tiene muchos recursos. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. Have a great day.